Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel number 2. I actually almost forgot then that this is the second channel, GBFC2. Welcome back. It is Champions League quarter final, second leg, match day 2 reactions. We've got Borussia Dortmund 1, Manchester City 2, and Liverpool 0, Real Madrid 0. A match that we all thought was going to be a classic, but ended up being a bit of a damp squib, which I think is one of my favourite phrases to use in football to describe something that lets us down in terms of entertainment ever so slightly. But before we get into anything though, 10,000 subscribers on GBFC2. Considering we've not really been taking this channel seriously until about a week and a half ago, that is a pretty decent number, and I'm very proud of it. Thank you guys for subscribing. If you aren't yet subscribed, make sure you do so, and whilst you're at it, if you can hit the like button on today's video, I'll be a happy man, and it gets the channel out there to a few more geezers who might want to stand here, or I doubt many of you have stood. If you want to sit there and watch me walking around the streets of Bali, interacting with animals, cows and humans, then maybe this is the place for you. But let me just put in this little code, get out of this little gaff, and we'll go and see some animals, shall we? First of all, Man City winning in Borussia Dortmund after Dortmund take the lead through 17-year-old Jude Bellingham, the man who, again, Southgate, this geezer is going to have a serious issue when it comes to picking his England squad. Jude Bellingham looked like one of the best players on the pitch last night. I think Phil Foden probably took the honours overall with the match-winning goal for Manchester City, but Bellingham was absolutely class. Dortmund take the lead in the first 20 minutes. They go in at half-time leading the tie and leading the match, and it's one of those where Manchester City will have been a bit worried, but they weren't worried enough to not be able to come back and win the game in the second half. They go through 4-2 on aggregate. First things first, check these little beauties out. Doing a Rory Jennings here, we're going to see the bloody cows, but these ones are brown cows. You know the phrase, how now? Brown cow. We're going to take a little walk up the other side of the street, to be honest, because I don't really want to stand in the field with the cows. But City, they got the job done. They showed their quality. They showed, I think, in my opinion, that they've got so much belief now within this squad, with Guardiola's system, with the players that they've got, and a very talented squad that's been built over the years now. A coming-of-age mentality performance from Manchester City where they're going out and they need a goal from somewhere, but they don't just get one. Riyad Mahrez turns up with the first, and then the youngster Phil Foden, who is going to be the future of Manchester City, the future for England as well. He's a quality young lad, and he scores the winning goal. City go through 4-2 on aggregate. Comfortable. I wouldn't say it goes against anything that people would have genuinely predicted, because I think most people looked at this tie and over 2 legs before a ball was kicked would have easily said that Manchester City are the favourites. They should be beating Borussia Dortmund. They've not had the best season in the Bundesliga as a stone decides to disappear between my feet. Job done for Man City. Not really too much of a surprise. They win on the night. Dortmund, that could be the end of them in the Champions League now for a while. They got a good win at the weekend in the Bundesliga, but Erling Haaland doesn't manage to score in 2 matches against Man City, and they become the first club, this is an incredible stat by the way, Man City are the first Champions League club that Erling Haaland's played against where he hasn't scored. City managed to keep him quiet for 2 games, which, as much as we can all talk about the brilliance that City show when they're going forward, I think the biggest thing this season, and why I think they're the favourites to beat Paris Saint-Germain, because defensively they're so solid and sound. It doesn't matter which players or which combinations they use at the back. They've got so many options, and it always seems to come good. They always look very secured at the back. Bellingham obviously scored last night for Dortmund. They conceded in both legs. But when you've got the kind of quality they have going forward in abundance, despite only really having Gabriel Jesus fully fit as a striker, so much quality in this team. Kevin De Bruyne, can argue he definitely deserves to win a Champions League. He's just signed a new City contract. Maybe this year is the year, but PSG and hopefully Chelsea stand in the way of that. We move. So let's talk about Liverpool and Real Madrid. It finished goalless at Anfield, which means that Real Madrid qualify for the semi-finals 3-1 on aggregate after a very dominant first leg display in their training ground, or their Real Madrid B team's home ground. It's not quite the Bernabeu. You know, this game could have been totally different. Liverpool had a chance in the opening 2 minutes of the game, fell to Mo Salah. And if he would have scored, then this could have been an absolute classic. Instead, it finishes 0-0. But If Liverpool score a goal in the first 2 minutes, not only does that rattle Real Madrid, it worries them because in the back of their minds, I know this is Real Madrid and they've got higher calibre and pedigree in this competition than any football club, but knowing what Liverpool can do in the Champions League, and especially if they get that early goal, it changes the whole dynamic of this game. A 1-0 wouldn't have got Liverpool through, but scoring that early goal, giving them 88 minutes to actually chase after that second goal, which would have put them through, I think they would have done it. And it's all what ifs, buts and maybes, but at the end of the day, Real Madrid dug in, and the clean sheet that they kept, I think, is a massive testament to the quality in this squad. Casemiro got the man of the match from UEFA. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. But I think overall, Real Madrid, they proved they are the team out there who probably don't get as much defensive credit as they should, because they absolutely grinded that one out. I thought Liverpool actually looked really good. I think defensively too, they were decent. They didn't really ever look like conceding because they did look quite solid at the back, which, considering how many great attacking players they've got, it just shows this season that those Liverpool attackers aren't really on the same wavelength together as they have been in the past few years. But Real Madrid dig deep. And I think even though it's not the strongest Real Madrid team that we've seen over the years, they just know how to get things done and over the line in this competition, which makes them so hard to play against. And even though there wasn't much to talk about in the game, it finished 0-0, I think it is a very, very solid two-legged tie performance from Real Madrid. And considering they know how to win this competition more than anybody else does, they'll be very confident going into that game against Chelsea. Not saying that they're confident they're definitely going to go through, because Chelsea are a different, a different proposal, that's probably not the right word, than we were a few months ago. And Thomas Tuchel's made us incredibly difficult to beat, and it took an overhead kick from Taremi in the 93rd minute to beat us. In knockout football this season, we haven't lost yet, even in the FA Cup. We're in the semis on the weekend. But overall, if we look forward to those semi-finals, just briefly, obviously I'm going to do a preview for the semi-finals here on GBFC2 when they get closer. Man City versus PSG. People are calling this the oil money derby, which is kind of funny, but I think this is a massive, massive game. When I look at the two clubs, no disrespect, but they're two wannabe clubs, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is both of them are looking for this biggest piece of silverware to really start to have the confidence that when people talk about big clubs in Europe, people don't like to include clubs in that conversation that have never lifted the Champions League trophy. Neither of them have done so, and they'll both look at this as the perfect opportunity to get their first one under their belts. If they can beat the other, then it really does become interesting. They'll both back themselves as favourites against either Chelsea or Real Madrid. So that tie is going to be incredibly tasty. I think Man City are actually designed very well to combat the strengths of Paris Saint-Germain. They've got blistering pace going forward. And I think City have definitely got the pace and the quality defensively to actually hold that off. I don't know who I'm going to say is the favourites. I'm going to leave that one to when we do the preview for these semi-finals. And then Chelsea versus Real Madrid. It is absolutely massive, this one. I've actually been talking to Thibaut Courtois on Twitter this morning. He's very excited for the return, and Eden Hazard's return as well, which is one that everyone is going to be looking forward to. I think either team can win this. I think Chelsea actually match up quite nicely against Real Madrid. I'd much rather have played Real Madrid than Liverpool, which surprises a lot of people. But I just feel like there's something about Liverpool in Europe that makes me very scared to play against them. I'm going to take a little walk back inside now. But yeah, the semi-finals are set. City PSG, Chelsea Real Madrid. I cannot wait for this. Kicks off in 2 weeks' time, so you're going to have to wait another week or so for Champions League content here and on GBFC as well. Like I said at the beginning, massive thank you for 10,000 subscribers here on GBFC2. It means a lot to see you guys supporting across both of the channels and also on my social networks at Mr. George Benson on both Instagram and Twitter. Link is down below. Let me know what you thought of the two semi-finals last night in the comments also, and I will catch you guys later.